Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to Iowa, United States Senator John McCain. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage veterans of the Iraq War, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and veterans of the Vietnam War.
Thanks so much, folks. Thank you all for being here. Wonderful it is to have my dear friend John McCain with us. As you know, John and I were in the same war, Vietnam. And 1967, both of us had the unfortunate opportunity to get shot down. John got busted up really bad, was wounded in all his extremities. I was the same way. I got busted up and shot up. We wound up in a cell. Neither of us able to take care of ourselves. And fortunately, we had an Air Force nurse that kind of helped us along. We struggled along, stayed alive. And shortly after we got together, the Vietnamese offered John a terrible, terrible choice. Here he was, terribly wounded, sick, very close to dying, and they offered him a chance to take an early release. They said, after all, you're sick, you're wounded, you're really hurt. This time for you to get out of here and get back to the United States where you get some really good medical care. And John McCain knew that was the wrong thing to do. And John McCain's answer was, I will go home when every person who's been shot down in front of me has gone home, and when everyone who is sicker than me has gone home. And so they tortured him to try to force him to go home. And he still refused to go home. So that's a little talk about character. And all of you know that character is the thing that you do when nobody's watching. And John McCain has been famous for making his own decisions, making the right decisions ever since I have known him. Now, along the way, he's made a couple of kind of goofy decisions, but that was when he was a young sprog at the Naval Academy and kind of feeling his way around the world. But when he became a POW and launched his career in the military Navy, there wasn't a better officer around than John McCain. All of us who were in prison with him understood that at some time in his life, John was going to be doing something really significant. And he is doing that now. All of us on this stage represent World War II, Korea, Iraq, Vietnam. All of us unanimously back this man for President of the United States. One of the major reasons for that is that obviously, if you're going into the terrible war that we are in, we need a leader who has the experience and the character to lead. And it's also pretty clear that if you're going to get your pipe in your kitchen fixed, you're not going to want somebody to come work on your kitchen who's never fixed a piece of plumbing before. You're certainly going to want somebody who has the most experience and the most background and can do the best job possible. And this is the kind of man that we have for a candidate. I'm mighty proud to endorse John. Our POW group endorses John. Military across the country believes in John. John has not varied from his stance when 3 years ago or more he said, Secretary Rumsfeld, you haven't put enough troops on the ground in Iraq. They can't do that job. And then he said, they can't do that job and they got the wrong strategy. And nothing happened. So he told President Bush, fire Rumsfeld. So he did not come, John did not come to this position in this campaign for the convenience of sounding good in front of the press. He said this back when the times were difficult and people were criticizing him for making those kind of statements, because many people thought that we were going to simply walk through Iraq. They would welcome us like they did the American soldiers in Paris after the war, and things would go along. Well, they were wrong, and John was right. So who we are looking for is a man with, first of all, character, a man with experience, a man who understands how to lead. We also need someone who will stand fast. This is a man who admired Teddy Roosevelt, who admired Ronald Reagan. We've had some really great presidents. And here is a man who was cut out of the same piece of cloth, John McCain.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bud. Thank you all for coming today. And if you want to sit down for a minute, I have a 3-hour speech on the North Korean nuclear buildup, so I know you'll be interested in that. I want to thank you all. You know, all of us in our lives have had heroes, and obviously not only my hero, but my leader, my inspiration. And I know I speak for so many others of us that were long ago and far away in captivity, and that is that Bud Day inspired us to do things that we never believed we were capable of and we would not have been capable of. And he wears that medal around his neck as one of the most exclusive organizations in the world, and that is, as you know, the highest award that our nation can bestow. And so I'm honored to be here at Bud Day Airport. I think it was very, I think the statue is kind of a little bit too flattering, by the way. I almost didn't recognize him, but so I'm here with Bud. But the reason why we are here is because of that sign. It's not because of me, and it's not because of my ambitions. It's because I'm proud to stand in the company of those who have served our country, and this is a seminal event and a seminal time in our nation's history as we decide, as I said in the Armed Services Committee today in the hearing when General Petraeus and Ambassador Crocker were there, we can either choose to support our troops and support this strategy and the one that is succeeding and is winning, or we can choose to lose. I choose to win. And I choose to stay, and I choose to support these young men and women and let them win. And I'd like to thank all of our veterans who are here. Would our veterans just raise their hands for me and say thank you for your service, thank you for being here, thank you for your bravery, and thank you for your courage. And I'd like to introduce Sonia Brecky. Sonia is an Iraqi war veteran and still an active member of the National Guard. Sonia, thank you for your service, and thank you for